Audubon 2456.
State of the Save is back with part 1 of our discussion on Dishonored. I am Eric. It's good to be back. With me, as always, is my co-host Michael.
Dishonored Discussion and Discourse.
The DDD. It sounds like a government agency, now, doesn't it? It's good to be back. We did not have a Foul Corrupted last week. I had some family emergency stuff come up. We weren't able to do so. But everything is back to normal, or as normal as life gets now.
What is normal?
Normal is sitting in front of microphones talking about video games. That's what it is.
Well, I like normal, I guess.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid normal. It's good to be back. High excited. This is a game that really kind of shocked me how much I'm enjoying it so far. I think we're going to have a great discussion today.
Did you feel a seething anger at yourself by being like, I should have been playing this years ago?
Yes.
I should have been an Arcane fan years ago.
I feel like I've been missing out.
Right.
It's like when you read a book from a book series that's like from 10 or 15 years ago, and you're like, I could have enjoyed this so long ago. You see a movie that, you know, is like a movie from the 70s. And you're like, I could have loved this movie for years, but now I just now discovered it.
Yes, exactly.
It's the double-bladed, you know, it's the double-edged sword, right? Where you're excited that you discovered it now, but you wish you would have discovered it before so you could have been a part of the discourse at the time.
But enjoy this moment because we're experiencing something that's in the discourse for the very first time, too.
Yes, yeah.
So.
Yeah, because it's also a perfect time to get into Arcane's games because Deathloop is setting the world on fire. Arguably, right now, the biggest release of the year, would you say?
It's up there. I think, well, in my circle, Metroid is currently the biggest release, it seems, at the moment.
Yes, which I'm excited about
once
also.
Metroid came out, it seems like the Deathloop stuff kind of went away. But I feel like that's just single-player game discourse now. Yeah. You're big for a month, and then you disappear until Game of the Year comes up. And then you're brought up again.
I feel like in December, it'll come back up hard. You know, that's the way a lot of single-player only games happen. You because you enjoy them, you talk about them, you knock them out in a short amount of time. Because hell, if you are really enjoying a really good video game, you're most likely going to play it quickly because you're enjoying it. So that also increases the amount of time that you are playing and decreases the amount of time you might be talking about it. Mm-hmm. So I think end of the year Deathloop would come back up a lot.
And then of course when it hits Game Pass, because that's like a whole
which is next year.
It should be next year.
Yeah, I think it's
point.
Next year. But
I don't know how much Sony fronted to keep that deal alive, but
you know what? Good for them for getting this one. I mean, like I said, it's going to end up on Xbox.
Get.
It's a solid for the last Bethesda game that they're going to get as an exclusive.
No, they get one more.
They get one more.
Ghostwire Tokyo will be the last one.
Okay.
One that I'm very excited for. Any game that you can punch a ghost out of somebody and then shoot that ghost with a bow and arrow immediately has my attention. I'm like, yes, this. Yeah, this seems like a cool video game.
But
motorcycles, Tokyo, neon lights, ghosts, swords. Yeah, this is checking all my boxes.
I was gonna say Sony did get some solid, last little hurrahs out of
they know how
Bethesda.
They know how to write a decent check apparently. Getting all those exclusive deals.
Sony can make a deal now. I mean, they got some hell of a deal.
Knights of the Old Republic is like, man.
Oh, yeah. Which I also know. I wonder if that's a timed exclusive.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm about to say there's no way they wrap that up.
No one knows the timing, but also Final Fantasy VII Remake is technically a timed exclusive, and it's been a year and a half at this point. It was a year, and then you think, the year's up, it's going to come on Xbox and PC. It's like, nope, here's a PS5 version. So unless they release the PS6, I think next year is the time.
It's a 5-year exclusive or something like that.
Something ridiculous, maybe.
No, I mean, I think it's cool to be talking about this in the discourse. You brought up Metroid.
I did bring up Metroid.
That leads us to our normal. Let's talk some video games before we talk about the video game we showed up to talk about.
Yay! I have not been playing Metroid.
No, but something happened with Metroid with you.
I did. I was one of the few people who got the special edition.
Somewhere out there, people are mad at you right now. And other people, I like myself, I'm happy you got it.
Thank you.
But a lot of people out there being like, fuck that guy. He got my collector's edition.
Don't be mad. It's currently in Tacoma, Washington, and has been since Wednesday.
We're on the East Coast here, so that's far away from us.
You can't be further unless you're in Alaska in the United States.
Yes.
I was thinking, it's coming from Nintendo. They have a New York store that I get stuff from occasionally. It's probably going to be from that. No, it's from their main Seattle, Washington facility. So I'm like, cool.
We have a lot of international listeners. Mm-hmm. So to kind of give the context there, that's pretty much, we are pretty much as far away from Tacoma, Washington as you can be
in the United
States. So yes, it's it's going to be a while with the way things are.
It still says Wednesday, so I imagine they're just throwing it on trucks and not scanning it.
It's going to all of a sudden get 50 scans, and you're going to get 50 notifications. Or they're going to wait till Tuesday afternoon and update it and be like, it's in Chicago now.
Okay, wait, what? No, how? Okay.
But you've secured it. You're going to get it. That's the important thing.
So don't be too mad at me because everybody's already finished the game by the time I'm getting it. But I'm going to flip through that art book immediately because I never buy special editions of video games. But I saw that Metroid one and went, ooh, that looks sleek. I need that.
It's a solid special edition. It looks like something... we've talked about before about the limited run games, how they do special editions. It looks like something kind of like they do, where it's a really high quality package. It's not just like a metal case and a 3-page book. It gives you a little bit more extra, you know? I feel like I'm looking forward to playing that game. I'm going to play it when I get some time. It probably going to be later on, towards the end of the year. Mm-hmm. I like to play it before end of the year so I can see if it makes my list. But heard nothing but good things about it so far. I'm not following any trailers. I'm not following any gameplay footage. I read, I think, one article about the game, and I was like, okay, things still seem solid. I'm still going to play this. Let's just move on and not get spoiled on anything. Is that kind of what you're doing right now?
I watched the E3 trailer. I watched a little bit of the Treehouse stream to be like, how does this play? I watched a boss fight and went, okay, cool. This is Metroid. You got me. I don't need to see anything else. Yes. I don't want to know ties to the overall story because I'm one of those few people who likes the lore of Metroid. So
I read an article that explained to me how this fits in the lore because I've not played every single Metroid. I've played, I played Super Metroid and I played Fusion, but I missed a few. I missed Zero Mission and stuff like that. So I read a very nicely detailed article about the entire lore of Metroid. And
Other M, it was just Other M happened, moving on.
Yeah, I don't even know if that got more than 4 lines. But it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to playing that. Let's talk about some stuff that we have played.
Yeah.
What's some video games you've been playing,
Going back to our E3 discussion, well, let's just say it was a little bit chaotic. Because
could you say that, on our E3 show, we broke some stuff, we searched for the Nookie. I'm trying to think of Limp Bizkit titles, man.
Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh, my man. So... Oh, man.
Don't dance around it. Go ahead and say
I'll start from the beginning. They released the second demo for Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. It was a timed, limited demo like the first one was for some reason. The one that was broken when it released on PlayStation 5 initially, so no one could play it for a full day.
Of a time demo, so you have limited amount of time to actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
And one whole day of that was was not working.
After a very questionable reveal of them saying chaos every few seconds. So if you don't know what Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin is, it's a Souls-like Final Fantasy game that is kind of a pseudo retelling of Final Fantasy 1. Basic Final Fantasy 1 where you have everyone's favorite warrior and wizard and black mage.
As fantasy can get.
Exactly. And then there's the only name character I know from it is a guy named Garland. Garland is in this game and they feel the need to give him a first name. His name's Jack Garland.
Jack,
everyone's favorite Final Fantasy protagonist, Jack.
Hey man, we got this awesome, fantasy game that we're making. We got this guy, his last name's Garland. What are we going to do? What's his first name going to be? I've got it, guys. I've got it. It's going to be fucking Jack. He's practically John Doe at that point.
Basically.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So tell me, did it reach your expectations? Because you had the lowest of high expectations on this.
It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It is an incredible train wreck, and it's exactly what I want. The gameplay is really cool. It's your standard Souls-like affair, except you have a class system where every weapon you get is attached to a different class, and each class is built by a skill tree. So you can basically build out different loadouts, essentially, for each given situation, and can change on them pretty much on the fly. You can have two that you can switch between, but you have a menu that you can access all of them at once. So I found myself getting really good with the lance and really good with the wand, because I could attach the wand to any form of magic, which I would use to like find an enemy's weakness, break them, and then switch to the lancer and do like a long range attack on them.
Okay.
So gameplay wise, it's really good. Story wise, it is beautiful. It is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
I exposed the lead here, but at one point in the Discord, you put in there and you said the Limp Biscuit is real, and I thought to myself, he's fucking with me. Michael's got this long game. He's like, I'm gonna try to convince Eric in this
that Limp Bizkit. I didn't believe it either.
2021 retelling of Final Fantasy 1 Dark Souls video game.
Can I set up the scene?
Please do.
So, you and two of your boys, different colored hair, roll up on Chaos's doorstep, and he's like, I'm gonna kill Chaos. Unmotivated, just rolling up on Chaos's doorstep. And then you proceed to go and do a very hard boss fight with Chaos. Really cool, and like it's addicting how much it's punishing, because one of those things, like, it has, thanks to the power of next gen consoles, when you die, it takes 2 seconds to like load back in, and you're at the boss's door. Be like, all right, let's go again. All right, let's go again.
Boy, does that make difficulty in video games so much easier.
Right? It's like, if I have to wait a full minute to load, I'm not playing your game.
Yeah,
but give me 3 seconds and I'm back in, and then the cutscene doesn't play. You're just right in that boss fight.
Yeah,
you're like, yes, you got it exactly. So they know that part. So then you proceed to headbutt Chaos in the face,
like you do.
Beat his second face, and then Chaos like vanishes and dies, and then becomes like a teenage girl who proceeds to tell you that, Chaos is kind of taking over people, and not a lot of people are aware of this, so I prayed to become Chaos so that the fabled Warriors of Light would come and save me. And I don't swear on this show, I try not to, me personally, but I have to quote this. She tells this entire JRPG plot to Jack, and he just goes, bullshit. And then pulls out his iPhone 13 or something, puts on some Limp Bizkit, and then leaves. Does not elaborate. It just walks out. And then it does a fade. The song is still playing. In fact, it ramps up. And then it like wipes, and they're all together walking through the forest with the song still playing continuously. Then he pulls his phone out again and pause and be like, he must be around here somewhere.
It does not explain any of this.
No, it does not. He just says no. He dismisses the plot of the game, turns on Limp Bizkit, and just leaves. I'm like, this is, if you want to see this, just type in Final Fantasy Limp Bizkit, and it will be the first thing that pops up. I swear to you, this game is beautiful. I am very much looking forward to this. And here's the beautiful part. Well, two beautiful parts. One, no one can agree if this is actually Limp Bizkit, because it sounds like Limp Bizkit, and I saw like comment threads going, it's a Limp Bizkit. No, it's not. And people's like, that's 100% Fred Durst. And what I'm like, are we arguing?
Did Limp Bizkit? Okay, now listen.
Did they make an original song?
I know of 2 Limp Bizkit songs.
That's 2 more than I know.
Yes.
So if you talk, I believed it when they said this is a Limp Bizkit. I'm like, I believe you.
I was a young angry man when I was like 8. And then at like 9, I realized this sucks, and I got into metal music. But I digress. Did Limp Bizkit like record original music for this?
That's what I'm hoping.
I hope they did.
It doesn't ping up on Shazam at all, so like you can't identify it. So it's a new song, but people are arguing. There are arguments on if this is Limp Bizkit or a different band who made an original song for this game. The fact that no one can agree makes it even more beautiful. And the second thing that makes this absolutely beautiful is apparently the Japanese studio that was working this, Team Ninja, was blindsided by the Chaos memes. They did not expect this game to be memeable, and they're like, what is the West doing with this? So this is made with sincerity. I don't understand. Is this like a translation barrier? Is it the localizers saying, hey, I have a bet going on. Maybe Japan won't catch this and shut us down. No, what is happening? I don't understand.
The line you just told me has made me so much more interested in this. Or interested. I'm not even using the right words because I'm just like flabbergasted. See what I mean? By this entire situation where the fact that they're like, what? Why is this a meme? Why is this a joke? Makes me want to play this so much more. Because if it was done trying to be like weird and quirky and a meme, then I wouldn't give a shit. But if they did it sincerely, some dude was like, listen, our badass character is going to walk away from this teenage girl who 2 minutes ago was the personification of chaos. And he's going to dismiss the entire plot. And he's going to put his headphones in. What band would he play? And someone said, clearly,
get Fred Durst on the phone.
Fred Durst of Lip Biscuit. You know, the rolling guy. And let's get him to record new music.
Maybe, allegedly.
I don't know. I don't give a fuck. I'm telling everybody, you might not curse on this show. I curse a lot. I'll tell you right now, fuck it. Everyone out there on the internet, I am putting this out there. It's Lip Biscuit's new release. And it's exclusive to this Final Fantasy game.
I lost my mind like at least 5 times playing this thing. And the fact that it's a competently made action game is the cherry on top.
If it was not a competent made action game,
I'd watch the cutscenes.
Yeah, I would just go on YouTube. And also I would be kind of like, well, you know, it's just a crappy game that's weird. Like, that's why I could never play, what's that, the paranormal game, the one that was like Twin Peaks. Deadly Premonition.
I have a copy of that game.
Yeah, but that's why I could never play it. Because it's not a game that I'm interested in playing. It's just a weird video game with a weird story and weird characters. But if this is a good, competently made action game that just so happens to be fucking off-the-wall insane, that just adds to it. That's just grab some popcorn and enjoy the chaos.
This seems like something that would have rolled off the PS2.
Yes.
Like, early on 2002. Like, you would see this on a demo disc next to the bouncer.
Localization teams are too competent now to let this slip through. So that's just like makes it even more exciting. I'm very much looking forward to I might actually play this. Because damn it, what you just described
may have sold
is my level of insanity. Anything else you've been playing?
PGA Tour 2K21. I won't elaborate on that. That's been a. I don't want to get too more deep into Death Stranding again because I am at a good stopping point before Metroid comes out. So I'm just gonna see what's on my PlayStation Plus list. Ooh, golf. Then I played golf for a few hours and the time slipped by from me. So that's where I'm at.
We're not gonna talk about that. I'm gonna talk about a couple of things. One of them I think you'll talk about too. I played Back 4 Blood.
I played the beta for that.
Yeah, we played the beta together, and I've played the standard release. Somehow I ended up playing like 6.5 hours of it in like a day and a half. I had a bunch of weird stuff going on, so I was like, let's play Back 4 Blood. That's a video game that... One thing I had problems with, and I did some checking today. I actually talked to a couple of people. I talked to somebody at work, and then I talked to somebody who I just know through the grapevine who also played it. I had a hell of a time getting a full game. And it's not because the player count is low or anything.
It's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass, and it's cross-play. But I would jump in, and it was almost impossible for me to get 4 people in the same game.
Does it set your region as something weird?
No,
like, are you looking for
everything.
in Oceania or something?
No, I checked everything. I checked every... I put crossplay on because obviously, I just wanted to find a full game. And then I talked to them. One of them's on PlayStation 5, one of them's on Xbox, and both of them reported the exact same issues.
That's so weird.
Where they were having issues getting full games. It's a game that has some cool moments in it. One that's a lot of people are talking about a particular scene when you're defending a bar and there's a jukebox playing, which is cool, but it's Left 4 Dead so much that it feels like I clearly they wanted to make a sequel to Left 4 Dead, and it just feels like they didn't do anything else to it.
It doesn't have its own identity.
It doesn't have a soul.
Gotcha.
It's a competent made video game. Nothing about it is bad. The shooting is fine. The map design on the maps are fine. I don't find any of the characters particularly interesting. There's not like one guy I can like lock onto and be like, this is my cool character. And when a game is set around like specific characters and things like that, that's kind of something I need because I want to feel like some connection to something. I was playing through it. I was like, well, I gotta have something to say about this thing. And I think the biggest thing I come away with is the game just doesn't have a soul. There's nothing there beyond someone made a really competent sequel to Left 4 Dead, but there's no.
This feels like something someone would have pitched on Kickstarter.
It's a paint by numbers.
Gotcha.
Someone made an Excel spreadsheet saying, let's make another Left 4 Dead. And they go down, they hit all the points to little thing. And the only thing I kept going back to is, and this is going to sound really weird, if you've played the World War Z video game, which is very much like this, it's third-person shooter, but it's like this. That game has more personality and soul to me than this one does. The card system that they add to this just didn't do enough for me.
Did they explain it? Because the beta just kind of threw you in and was like, here's a card system, figure it out.
You have to do some digging.
Yeah.
I found a broken card setup pretty fast. I was playing as the one character I had any kind of enjoyment out of. I think her name is Haley, but she starts off with a bat. I
think I played her in the beta.
They play her up like she's Harley Quinn.
Gotcha.
There's a card that gives you health back for every time you kill a zombie with a melee weapon. And I was playing on normal, and I went through at least 4 chapters just using a melee weapon because I just gained back more health than they took away from me, and it should have been more fun than it was, but it was just so broken. It was the most efficient way to get through it, but it was also like, damn, this is just boring. I'm just hitting zombies with a bat. There's no like challenge to this. And they can hit me a bunch, but I'm killing 4 of them for every one that hits me, so I'm just gaining back 20 health for every time they hit me.
Yeah, that seems broken.
And like I said, the game...
That'll get patched next week or something.
And it's like very stereotypical zombie fiction so far, where it's like the war had ended and you're working for this military guy and you're out doing zombie fiction stuff.
We have to kill the freakers.
The freakers or
what do they call
warm
them?
faces.
Do they call them zombies in this?
No, they're like the...
Just call them zombies! What are we doing?
That's like the Walking Dead thing, right, man? When the Walking Dead started calling them walkers instead of zombies, everyone was like, we need a clever... We can't call him a zombie. So we got to call him a clever name.
It breaks the world because I'm like, did you not have zombie fiction in your world at all?
That's what I wondered about with The Walking Dead. It's like you never had like Dawn of the Dead.
George Romero just doesn't exist.
George Romero, like someone went back in time and killed George Romero before he got to direct Night of the Living Dead, and that's why they have that timeline.
Oh no!
But it just has no soul. And speaking of video games that doesn't have a soul, this is my disappointment. I played the Battlefield beta.
I also played the Battlefield beta.
We were very excited about this Battlefield beta. I think our excitement levels are at 2 different places now. In context real quick, I'm not going to dwell on this too long because we got a lot to talk about with Dishonored.
Yeah.
But I am a humongous Battlefield fan. I have played extensively every single Battlefield except Hardline. The last one that I think was great would be Battlefield 1, but I even say Battlefield 5 is not terrible. It's fine. When they did the Pacific update, it made that game actually pretty good. This game, I hopped into the beta. I was very, very excited. Series X, running this thing, I had a bunch of technical glitches, lighting glitches. The skybox would occasionally just flash for me. It was weird, but I was like, this is a beta.
The devs came out and said this was like older build, like
Yeah.
a couple months.
I understand, though, technical stuff isn't going to scare me. I understand. The biggest issues I ran into with this was, one, there's some fundamental issues with how this game plays. One of my biggest problems was identifying who is on my fucking team.
I hate the specialist system.
Okay, yes.
Yeah,
and the specialist system is getting panned almost universally, and I agree with it.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of skeptical. We were talking on the Reddit before I got to go home and play it that day. I was at work, and you had sent me a message saying, like, the Reddit's kind of down on this. And I had looked.
But at the same time, we're like, that's just the Battlefield Reddit.
Yeah.
They're down on everything.
And then I was like, no, they got some points after I played it. Mm-hmm. The specialist system is bad. One of the biggest problems is it goes back to my issues with Call of Duty's beta. Both teams are using the same skins, which means that I would look to my left and see a guy on my team who's a guy in a baseball cap. I would look away, getting a shot, turn around and see a guy running up the hill that's a guy in a baseball cap. And for that split second that I thought it was the same guy, he shot me and killed me.
But to this game's credit, it has something that you said wasn't in Vanguard. You can see your the player name if they're on your team. So if the player name doesn't pop up, you can safely assume I should be able to gun this guy down.
That's in Vanguard too.
Oh, that
but
is?
You have
Gotcha.
to. It's that quick target recognition, and it goes back to things like if you look at like the devs talk about like when they were designing Overwatch, how silhouettes are key in Overwatch. Being able to identify something
hard orange outline.
Yes,
yeah.
the very easy. And in a game like this,
there's no confusion here because you're always blue, the enemy's always orange.
Exactly.
So you know, shoot at orange back.
And in the chaos of these firefights, a millisecond got me killed. Also, with the names, there was occasionally times where the name wouldn't pop up instantly, especially when I was turning quickly.
Gotcha.
And in that second where I was waiting, now you could just shoot everything that moves, but there was not a ton of ammunition on the ground in this game. And also, if you're going to play some of like the hardcore variants that the game offers, you're just going to kill your own team a bunch.
My problem, like during these firefights, was that there was so much empty space. When I thought 128 player battles, when they showed that incredible E3 trailer, I was like, this looks amazing. There's not going to be a single dull moment. I spawned in and didn't see a firefight for like 8 minutes in a Battlefield game. And I'm like, that's a cardinal sin.
Yeah.
And I looked, I was like, is my lobby full? Is there bots here? No, it was a full lobby.
I was thinking about that too. And I was like, okay, well, it's Conquest. There's always been Battlefield maps in Conquest that have been very sparse. But, and to be honest with you, since the kind of development of what is like the rush game type that they do now in Battlefield, where it's like 2 objectives and there's a front line, I've always enjoyed that game mode more than Conquest now because it keeps the fighting together. So you feel like if you're playing Battlefield, I want to participate in these like massive firefights, whether it's tanks and helicopters and this, that, and the other. But with this map in particular, there was moments where, and there was not a lot of vehicles around to hop into, so there was moments where I'm like, I guess I'm running through this tunnel. There's a particular tunnel I remember being a big issue for me, where I was like, I just ran down this tunnel for like 8 minutes, and nothing's there. There's no firefight. There's nothing really going on, and then there's just meat grinder locations that you could go to, like on top of one of the skyscrapers, where it's like, at this point, it's just a meat grinder. You pop up, you maybe get 1 kill, and then you get killed by a helicopter. And it's like there was no in between. There was no feeling of being able to quickly jump to different locations. There was not like a lot of vehicles around. Well, I could be.
There was no map to see where the fight was happening.
There was no map, and I know that that's probably getting fixed. But goddamn, how do you not have a map? I literally asked you in the Discord. I said, "Am I missing something?"
I hit every button. I checked every. I looked at map. I was like, "Is there a map in this game?"
There's no map.
There's.
It's and
because that would have mitigated a lot of my problems. Like if I can just see where the fight is happening, rather than just like having to circle around over and over again and hoping I see one of the mission objectives. Wait, or somebody please use the ping system to ping objectives?
Well, even then, like,
or was that for your squad only? That
no,
you could see the
it's.
squad
I think
pings, or was it?
no, I think that's squad only now. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to lock myself in, but even the ping system didn't feel as good as it did in like Battlefield 4.
Yeah.
This was very. And one of the last things I'll say is the shooting didn't feel great. It felt very light. It felt very, very. It didn't have any weight to the guns and the firing. It felt very much like it would be like a Call of Duty kind of close, 16 on 16 in a map kind of shooting where...
I agree with it. It's very... people were like jumping and sliding like you would in a typical Call of Duty thing. And it was just like, this is not what I wanted.
No. Like,
I was like, I'm still interested in the overall concept, but I'm like, this is not a day one purchase anymore for me.
It went from a day one purchase to
Let's wait
and see.
Yeah.
Which is the opposite of what you want with a beta.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to take your hardcore fan base and tell them that maybe you should wait now.
I was like, well, see, maybe Battlefield Portal will mitigate all of that, because if I can just insert Battlefield 4 people into Battlefield 2042's maps, maybe that'll fix everything. But at the same time, I was like, the game that they're serving up here just doesn't interest me in the way I wanted. But granted, it's a beta. A lot could change. This could very much be like a very early pre-release build, and then you play the game and go, oh, wait, I see something here. But I have a feeling I don't see how this game doesn't get delayed.
No.
Again,
one thing that I think needs to be delayed, I think a delay would be in its best interest.
Elden Ring just gave up the January spot. Yeah. Slide into January. Well, just claim. Hey, we're January's game now.
Yeah,
we're still in EA's fiscal year. We're all right.
I think a delay would make a lot of sense, and I think one thing that maybe needs to get a hard look at is the specialist system. This is my last thing I'm gonna bitch about.
Yeah.
The specialist system, nothing about it made me not like the lack of Battlefield has always had classes, whether it's like a recon class, a engineer class, yada 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 yada. Now that's out the window. You just pick and choose what weapon loadout you want and your equipment loadout. And because of that, I noticed almost everybody was using a similar loadout, where almost everyone had some form of anti-air or anti-tank. Almost everyone had, assault rifles, and it kind of. The one thing that the class system in Battlefield always kind of did is it made you put yourself at a disadvantage in some aspects to have an advantage in another. So if you were playing as a sniper class...
It also gave you, a personal objective to do.
Yes.
The engineer was always... I was always engineer because I'm like, hey, if I'm bad at the shooting this round, I can at least go and fix vehicles.
Yeah. And, for me, I liked playing as, assault, but that gave... By having other enemies... that were using snipers or using the support classes with light machine guns and things like that. I was constantly running into different problems. So if I was playing Battlefield 5 and I was playing in the Pacific maps, I had my M1 Grand, I'm playing assault. But then I round the corner and here's two guys who got mounted machine guns that are shooting at me. Oh crap, I gotta deal with that. With this, everyone picked what was kind of the solid all around option. And so it made, you flying helicopters, I was getting bombarded with fucking rockets because almost everyone had a rocket launcher on them. Because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Almost everyone was using the assault rifles because it was good for long and medium range. I didn't see a lot of guys using light machine guns or submachine guns. It really just felt like it made it very bland.
You pick your attachments once and then you never touch it again.
Yeah, the mix and match attachment thing that we were very excited about. At the beginning, I just set my attachments and I never really adjusted them.
Yep.
Because they didn't really have a force multiplier behind them. I didn't feel like there was different magazines with different kinds of ammunition you could load. But I didn't feel like I had a really good reason to switch my magazine out to the heavy rounds or switch it out to the extended clip for this reason. Mm-hmm. It just really felt it goes back to my thing I made a statement about with Back 4 Blood. It felt like it didn't have a soul. And
agreed.
It really bummed me out. I really hope that maybe a delay happens.
I'll be quick. You should at least look at. It was free on PlayStation, so I played one round of it and went, "This is not for me." You should look at a game called Hell Let Loose.
No, Hell Let Loose is on my wish list.
It is.
I've been wanting to play that since it got released on PC.
I played one game of this and was like, "This is it." I was like, let's jump into a 20-minute match. An hour and a half later into this match, it was like, okay. This is not a game for me, but I can appreciate this. I was like, this is an Eric game. Yes. This is very much an Eric game.
Real quick, I'm not going to talk a lot on it. I've been wanting to play that. I've been following it since it got released on PC. I listened to a popular history podcast called Dan Carlin Hardcore History. He has a sub-podcast that does little addendum episodes. And he actually, this is a historian podcast, but he actually did an interview with the developers of Hell Let Loose, talking about what they went into, like designing uniforms and the equipment and the roles. Is a lot more it reminds me of the game Enlisted that I talked about before on the show. The thing with Enlisted is it was so flooded with microtransactions.
Well, it's a free-to-play game versus a paid game,
It made it, it was just really heavy on microtransactions, but it still was good. I think Enlisted's still good.
It was a PS Plus game. That's why I played a bit of Hell Let Loose. So there's a chance if it does that, it might hit Game Pass sometime. So
no, I plan
definitely keep an eye out for that.
And then I've been looking at what's it? Operation. It's a more tactical, modern military shooter that just came into Xbox. But I digress. Yeah, there's shooters out there that I want to try. It's just Battlefield's been such a go-to for me, and this one isn't. But speaking.
We had a lot of games we need to get out, didn't
we? we didn't have a show. We'll put a label in there when so people can jump straight to the Dishonored talk.
Time codes.
Yeah,
look at that.
We're gonna start doing that. I need to be better with that. I'm the guy who puts the descriptions on there, and I'll try to start putting some time codes.
Welcome, Dishonored subreddit. This is probably where you're listening.
Yeah, if you're on the Dishonored subreddit, you might be jumping in right about now. 37 minutes.
Look at that clean.
Yeah.
Slate there.
Speaking of, we talked about a lot of games we felt like didn't have a soul. Let's talk about a game that has nothing but a fucking great soul.
Oh man, Dishonored. Let's go.
Dishonored. I have been blown away by my time with this game so far. We picked this out of because of the death loop kind of take off. We realized we didn't have a lot of experience with Arcane Studios, and we're like, well, let's give Dishonored a try. It's such a cult classic.
Absolutely. The people who love Dishonored love Dishonored.
And I talked about a guy who I used to work with, a younger guy who, his love of the game and stuff like that in the last episode. Jumping in, it took maybe 5 minutes before I was sold on this game.
It took me a little bit long because I played quite a bit of immersive Sims. It wasn't until like halfway through the first level where I realized where something clicked for me of how I can play this game basically without touching the ground, and I went, "Oh, I get it. I get this game."
We was speaking last night, and I told you one of my biggest problems with stealth games is stealth games that make you try to find what the developer's path through the game is for you. And it's like, well, the developer wants me to cut down this hallway, then cut across this room here.
You gotta wait for the guard. You gotta wait for the guard to finish his. Go to the end of the hallway, look left, then look right, and then walk back.
It's like the old Splinter Cell games, where it was a lot. I love those games. Don't get me wrong.
We're not bashing Splinter Cell here.
No. I love that series.
This is a safe space for Splinter Cell fans.
Yeah, but if you play like Pandora Tomorrow, it's a lot of watching the guards walk around, figuring out the pattern, and then adjusting to the pattern.
But that also comes with the age of that game too. Versus
I'm not bad mouthing that game. This game, every time I thought of an idea of how to get around a situation, so far, I've been able to do that idea. There was a particular walled-off checkpoint that I had to get around, and I thought, like, well, I think I could probably, hop these roofs over here along the water's edge, and maybe I'll make it across. And sure enough, I was able to pull that off. And it was just like that level of, if you think you could probably do it, most of the time, it's going to let you pull it off.
This entire game's mantra is rewarding experimentation.
Yes.
You can save anywhere. So you can be like, hey, I'm about to do some dumb stuff. I'm going to save right here. And then you go, oh man, that worked? Or, oh, that didn't work. I can reload the save.
Yes.
So thank you for letting me build my own checkpoints. Especially, that's what made me go, I'm going to start this game on hard mode and see what's up. Because I was like, I want to be as stealthy as I possibly can. I still have not got any of the Ghost Awards. I've been seeing quite a bit.
There's a couple of,
yeah.
and I wouldn't say it's cheap by any means, but there's a couple of environments that it's just very difficult to get through without anybody seeing you.
This last mission was
there was
very difficult stealth-wise.
Getting to that roof was not easy.
No, it was not.
But we'll talk about that when we get there. But no, I've really enjoyed the mechanics of this game. Now I'm surprise, not as unlethal as you are. You are the man who played through Metal Gear Solid 3 trying not to kill anybody, and I killed a lot of fucking people.
I've killed a couple people here.
My guy, he has a code. I don't kill anybody who's a civilian, the maids, the town people. None of them are getting killed. I don't actively try to kill anybody. If I sneak up behind you, you're getting choked out. I'm not killing you. But if I get discovered and you're charging me with a sword, you gotta get killed. That's the way it is. And if I find my target disgusting and despicable, something bad's gonna happen to you. So I view my character as playing with a code, and that's kind of how I've stuck with it. I've only had one time where I felt like I accidentally killed one of the sleepers or the people who are infected with the plague. I accidentally killed one of them by mistake, and I reloaded my checkpoint.
The Weepers.
The Weepers.
I checked my notes.
I accidentally killed one of them by mistake, and I reloaded my checkpoint because I felt bad about it.
Yeah.
So I view myself with a code here. Let's jump into the plot here.
We can kind of take this game piece by piece, pretty much.
This is a very easy game to talk about.
It really is.
In this show format.
It's like made for this type of format, really.
We were, before the show started, we were like Alan Wake and Life is Strange and Grim Fandango. They fit perfectly for this show.
Anything with like set chapters, we can all kind of discuss piece by piece.
Yeah, this is very, very easy to discuss.
A hero campaign, a dark campaign,
Yeah, it's very easy to discuss. One of the biggest things I like about this game is that right when it starts at the beginning, and apologies, I'm bringing up my notes here because I want to make sure that I don't miss some of the points that really...
Oh, I took so many this time.
One of the things I really enjoyed at the beginning of this game is it sets the environment very well. You play as Corvo. You're arriving from this kind of expedition you've been on to try to gain help for your kingdom. Is the kingdom ever named?
Yeah.
If it is, it's
Dunwall.
Dunwall. Yeah. You are the kind of personal bodyguard to the Empress. Mm-hmm. And you are kind of you've been kind of her.
You're the head of Secret Service, essentially.
Yeah, you're head of Secret Service,
but also a little bit of Secretary of State. Because you are start this game coming back from going around looking for aid, being like, hey, we have a rat problem. Do you have any rat poison we could borrow or anything?
We have a plague problem.
What's that like?
Wonder what that's like.
Anyway.
But as you're arriving, you were sent on this also at the kind of suggestion by the head spy master of the Empire. Which is something to kind of remember with the way things go. Things do not go well on your Secretary of State tour. Nobody's sending aid. Instead, they're kind of just quarantining off your kingdom and going to let you guys see how y'all do by yourselves. It's a very London-inspired environment. It's very
is it Victorian? I don't know my London areas, but
it's
Victorian.
It's post-Victoria, Victorian era to me. It looks like it's a little bit post-Victorian,
but also like they kind of pick and choose like their favorite elements because they.
I mean, there's some steampunk here. There's some Victorian it's very
the art design's great. Like,
oh yeah,
it reminded me of like a bit of like a BioShock if it went through like a layer of like watercolor paint almost.
That's actually not a bad way of looking at it.
Whereas BioShock is more
BioShock's more golds and
Art Deco.
Art Deco,
and this is very much Victorian London.
If you're interested in our thoughts on BioShock, you can go back and listen to our 2 episodes on BioShock. Hey, always got a plug. The art style, like I said, they pick and choose a lot from that like London Victorian era steampunk style, but it never like feels like steampunk to me can come across corny at times. This doesn't have any of that. They keep it really grounded and they keep it really gritty, so it has a real dirty, desperate feel to the environment.
It has like a MacGuffin style. This powers everything. It's like whale oil. That's all you need to know.
Whale oil is the peak of technology. But I like that.
Yeah.
And you see like the industries around there where they're harvesting whales. And everything's got like the containers all over the place, and there's lots of references in the literature about it. And
like the loudspeakers will bring it up because there's a plague, and like this first area also brings up there's some supply chain issues going on because of this really hit home in a lot of ways, especially.
Man, what a weird word this is.
There is a please limit yourself. We are going into limited zones for whale oil. Whale oil usage is limited and out this sector to save on whale oil. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. Boy, this sounds familiar.
Please only use one take again.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I digress.
Everything in this first section especially was like hammered home. Like the world going on. We try to keep everything like...
we try to keep things light.
Yeah, but like this makes it very hard to do it in this first section here because you kind of got to talk about how this like some games just age very well.
This is a very it's a very timely game so far. As you arrive, you're kind of getting the lay of the land. You're getting introduced to kind of some of our players here.
Some of the people you might meet at the opposite end of the knife later.
Yeah, some of your targets.
They do a good job of making you hate some of these people right away.
The chief of the religion, we talked about.
Yeah, the religious like order, like police, basically.
He's basically. It's very like, and this is not me taking any shots at anybody's religion. Don't get mad about that.
Yeah.
But it very reminiscent of like an early version of the Catholic Church, where there was like a militant, like back in like the
Swiss Guard.
Yeah, there was a militant, militant version of the church that goes along with it. But the first moment you meet him, you're already like, this fucking asshole.
The plague comes from inside of us. We just need to strengthen our faith, and we'll get rid of this. And I'm like, I wrote, oh no.
Pray the plague away, everybody. No. You very quickly dislike him. But one of the things I like about it is, as Corvo is making his return to the Empress, there's hints at like a relationship there, like a romantic relationship in some ways.
Kind of like, hey, we would if we weren't bound by our duty. Like there's some...
Or we have and we just don't
talk about it.
To me, it strikes me as almost like we don't speak about, like an open secret.
It's the Anakin Padme thing, kind of.
Yeah, but not done with a fucking sledgehammer. Like, subtlety was taken into consideration here. It's very much like and you meet Emily, who is the Empress's daughter, and there's a great moment where it teaches you some of the stealth mechanics by playing
hide and seek with Emily. If you don't, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, don't be an asshole. But, it all leads up to, you deliver the message that, hey, no one's coming. And during this kind of moment where she's talking about what, what she's going to do and what we're going to have to do to get through this, assassination attempt is taken.
Conveniently, all of a sudden, all the higher-ups just, like, walk away. I write down, I don't trust the spy master, dude.
Well, he makes a line very early, and I think in my notes I put it and go, like, let's just put a big glowing X over this guy's head and say, hey, he's the bad guy. Because he makes a line very early that says, well, you're like a week early from coming back. and he's the guy who suggested to send you away. So very obviously, you were not supposed to be here today, which is a cool setup, you know. Obviously, the assassination attempt is also a chance to get you introduced to the combat, which we'll talk about in a second. The assassination attempt is successful. It kills the Empress, and it kidnaps Emily, the daughter of the Empress.
Which right away you have an attachment to because you played hide and seek with her.
Yeah.
If you didn't, then
well, and also just the way she speaks to you. Clearly, Corvo and
there's
her...
a relationship there.
Yeah, there's a relationship there. Clearly, you, the Empress, and Emily have a close bond. Even if you and the Empress are not necessarily doing what it implies you are doing, you all have a close bond together. This is a tragic thing to happen to Corvo, and it's even more tragic that they pin it on him. After you the Spy Master successfully pins the assassination on you. You wake up in...
They straight up tell you that, like, someone has to take the fall. I was like, you could have played this up as, we caught you with the sword, but no, they're like, you've got, someone had to, you discovered our plot, you have to die.
It shows that, like, it was an improv thing.
Yeah.
Well, like, he wasn't supposed to be here today, but since he is, I guess he's the one taking the fall for the assassination.
Oh, that worked out.
Yeah.
Lucky us.
I really think after you're taken into custody and the scene where you wake up and you realize that the Spy Master has taken control over the country, or this, we're going to use the word country because we've only seen this city, but we're going to use the country.
Yeah.
It's very obvious he's the bad guy, that he's orchestrated this overthrowment. And Corvo is going to take the blame. He's going to be hung. Everyone's pinned it on him. And
even there was a note from a dirty officer from the Spy Master who was like, hey, no matter how tempting it is, you can't kill him during the interrogation.
Yeah.
He has to hang. This has to be a public thing. In order to save our skins, he has to be hung. Which is a cool detail.
We have to give the people something. And you hear also in the section that follows this, where you sneak around the prison, you hear a lot of the guards being like, "You believe that bastard Corvo is here?" Like, not all the guards are like, "Oh, they believe the story. They've been told that Corvo assassinated the Empress, and he's a fucking bastard, and they hope he hangs." And so, I get into that.
You have some people like, "Oh, I always liked Corvo," stuff like that. Stuff that makes you feel like, if I was going to stab you, I'd at least feel bad about it.
That goes back to my point that I'm trying to play in character in some way.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Corvo is not a psychopath. He's not killing people just to kill people, but he's got a mission, and he can't be stopped on the mission. I'm always a big fan in stealth games of letting me recover from being seen.
Yes.
In any way possible, because I feel like, to me, that feels more realistic than the old style of, you've been caught.
I'm not just I've done it a couple times just because I wanted to give this section a try, but I'm at least trying to evade rather than just standing in the middle and just being like, just go ahead and kill me, shoot me with all that you got so I can die.
Yeah.
Let me have it.
No. And like I said, there's enough evade options that it gives you. There is ways of getting away too, especially with some of the higher end powers.
They do a good job of making you, during the first section where you get out your set, you get the key from your quote unquote friend.
Yeah.
And the first big hallway that opens up, and as the guards are just doing their general patrol patterns, you get a sense for even though you don't have the item that you can, the ability to see their cone of vision yet, you can kind of okay, guy at the opposite end, I'm in the shadow, he can't see me. That's a good way of it's stealthily introducing you to the stealth mechanics.
It's a very forgiving stealth mechanic too. The cones of vision have pretty good blind spots on the side.
Yeah.
So even if you round a corner and you approach a guy from almost directly on the side, usually he won't see you.
They're pretty deaf. They won't really hear you coming.
As long as you're crouched,
you can
pretty much move around pretty easily. And
especially when you get that upgrade to let you go faster while crouched too, you can kind of just never get up from crouch. You're just constantly doing sneaky feet.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't think I ever leave crouch most when I'm in a mission.
Pretty much, yeah.
Unless I get into combat, and then I'll obviously jump out of crouch. But one of the things I like about it is I like in stealth games where it takes into consideration that I should be playing as someone good at this. So, like, let me feel like I'm a badass sneaking through and grabbing guys. You know, let me have that. And I feel like the game gets that across very well. It's a great opening with the prison. It introduces to you a lot of the way things are going to work here, the concept that you can, you know, you're going to have to acquire keys to open up locations at times. They'll be on certain guards. It gets you accustomed to, if you choose to get into combat, how the combat works, where it's a very Bioshock.
The parry of, like, the sword and everything. This is, like, the one point where I killed a guy because I wanted to see how the combat worked, just in case I ever got into, like, a scuffle.
And the combat feels good.
It does feel good.
It's a good sword. It's a very simple combat.
The 2 times I used it, it was fine.
I've used it more than you have, obviously,
yeah.
but the parry is fairly forgiving. But what I like about it is, too, 2 or 3 enemies can be a problem for you. You can't just hack at enemies. And you
got to evade, yeah.
Yeah, they do enough damage.
Unless you waste some of your precious resources. Like, you could use all of your sleep darts, but you're just down 3 sleep darts. You're like, that's like, what, 60 gold I just wasted?
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. That's very expensive.
But I can only get, because I haven't been able to find, like, a lot of, like, stealth pickups in the environment. I've always had to, like, whenever we go back to the pub, have to restock my equipment there.
There's a lot of things like pistol ammunition. You can find bolts for the crossbow.
And all of those, because this is a well-designed video game, all those are, like, kind of off the beaten path. So you kind of got to do a little bit of digging and exploring, or sneaking up behind guys and pickpocketing them.
Yeah,
to get some of that stuff.
pickpocketing, or, you know, knocking guys out and then looting a body. I will say the kind of 2-handed style that the game takes place, where there's the sword hand and then there's the power /
Weapon
gun
hand,
hand.
yeah.
Where it's either like where you have your pistol, your crossbow, or it's where you're using your powers to do the jumps or the
or
vision.
you're holding a heart where the Empress talks to you.
We'll get to the outside.
This game's nuts. I don't know if I have a full grasping. I'll just say right of everything going on, but I feel like that's fully intentional.
Yeah, oh yeah.
This feels like a game where, in order to understand, I'm only halfway through, so I don't know. In order to understand everything completely, this feels like it will require a second playthrough to be like, oh, I get it. Everything kind of clicks now, and that seems apparent in a lot of, like, the the written logs that you get. Sometimes they relate to characters you've seen, but sometimes they relate to events you have no idea what the context for is. So
it's a lot of world building.
It is a lot of world building, and I feel like a second playthrough for me would make those elements click a lot better for me personally. That being said, like, a lot of this, like, personal logs that you read are, like, really cool and, like, dive into characters, because, like, I feel like I have a decent understanding of everybody at the pub because of that.
It also does a really good job of explaining the politics and the history of the city and kind of what led them to where they are today.
Sailors are very important. That's why everyone whistles sea shanties.
Well, yeah, when your entire economy runs off of whale oil, you know, people who go out and get the whales are probably important people. So, like, I like that that's taken heavily into consideration. The entire prison escape sequence, it leads into the sewer section.
How did you escape from the like, getting past that door? How did you do this bit? Because I could not find a way to stealthily to blow up the door and not have them immediately recognize me.
I want to say that I actually took out everyone inside the room before there. I think there's a room where, like, 2 guys are in, and I was able to choke both of them out and then blow up the door.
It did lead to an exciting escape sequence from me, because I blew up the door, everybody turns around, so, like, I was, like, sprinting and, like, diving through the water as, like, bullets.
Oh, yeah,
like,
I know, I had that situation.
Okay, so there was
no
way to avoid that.
Yeah, I don't think there was, because the room in front of where I blew up the door, like, there's, like, a room, and then you go into another room to
It's like a small little, like,
almost yeah.
pseudo lobby area to transition you to the outside.
Yeah, and those two guys who were out there were choked out by the time I blew that door up. I was able to get behind.
I ran right past those dudes. There was people behind me, gunfire everywhere. I was like, this feels like the scene from Pirates of the Caribbean where Jack Sparrow's getting shot at in all directions. I was like, this is good. I was like, this is a fun escape
Now,
sequence.
that happened once I got outside.
Yeah.
And the guys were yelling. They're like, oh, crap, Corvo. And they're shooting. But, and I did the same thing, dived into the water and swam and jumped into the sewers. The sewers were really interesting to me also. One is, it's where you get the crossbow, I want to say.
Yeah, this is where you get your
equipment.
The gun, too, I think, is here.
And you get what would be your sword. You were using a guard sword before. But then when you get the equipment, you get the sword that flips out.
Yeah,
which is really cool. It's almost like a switchblade sword almost.
Like a collapsible cane almost.
Yeah,
like
it's
that
really it's cool. And you get do you get the mask? No, you
get the mask later.
Yeah,
you don't get the mask yet.
But the sewer system is really cool. One, you start to see a lot more of the rats. They're ever present in this game.
It straight up tells you, like, hey, there's a good ending and a bad ending. Like, right away, I was like, I appreciate you letting me know off the cuff because I'm like, okay, don't kill anyone. Cool.
There's a meter, and it tells you like
are you low chaos or high chaos?
I'm actually I think high chaos, but I think it's because one mission. I only really had one mission. My kill count is deceitful because I think you looked on my Xbox account and saw my kill count. And, like, it's deceitfully high because I had one mission, and we'll talk about it, in which I had a section where I had a bunch of guards get alerted, and we had to play some Game of Death. And so my kill count is deceitfully high.
I also think the Xbox counter, like, just doesn't take into account saves. So
there was times where I've died, too, after killing people, so I wonder if it doesn't.
I think it just racks up because you had, like... Before you had told me you finished the last mission, you had like 45 kills or something. I was like,
that's not right.
I was like, that I should check on that pub, make sure everyone's okay.
No, there was one particular section where I died like 4 times because I was trying to get into a door and I had a checkpoint save that happened at a really weird time. We'll get there.
So this my notes here remind me of like a puzzle that I didn't have to use again. Probably it might just be my play style or. There's a bit where you have to use a dead body to throw on the rats to get them out of the way. But I think it's because I'm playing low chaos. Rats are barely a problem in my game. Like there's 1 or 2 that pop up every now and then, but like
even in this section, because I hadn't really killed many.
No. I had a lot of rats in this section.
Okay. Because
I had to solve the puzzle by throwing the dead body to like, get them on my
There's
show.
a section.
But for the rest of the game, like rats were a non-factor for me.
I'm playing high chaos, and I think I've only had one situation. Now I am carrying a couple of the bone charms that have rats not attack me.
Oh, gotcha.
So I've got a little bit of an advantage there. In the sewer system, there was that puzzle you talked about where you have to use a dead body to distract a crowd of rats, which is pretty cool. Yeah. There's a cool, very Valve-style environmental storytelling where there's a couple that has a note talking about how they had come down to the sewers because they're sick. They don't have the money to get say the word. It starts with the E. It's the thing that keeps everybody...
Elixir.
There we go. They didn't have money to do that, so they kind of came down here to die. And it's, they're dead there, and it's like, little things like that set up like you walk by them and you realize that something happened here.
It contextualizes like the dead bodies around you. It makes you feel bad for the situation that unfolded.
This thing has wrecked this kingdom, and it's very interesting as Corvo being kind of like a member of the ruling party, group, to see him be down now in the midst of like where the average people are suffering from this, compared to the beginning of the game when you see Corvo meeting the Empress. There's the noble guys getting his painting done, and
he's
all
rubbing elbows with the higher ups.
And all this is happening.
You meet like the royal physician as like a painter. And everything too.
All this is happening as people are dying in the sewers from this plague. Like, it kind of puts it into context.
Like, there's no rats on, like, the top of that, like, high tower.
Exactly.
Too, but once you're, like, in the sewers, rats are all of a sudden, like, eating dead bodies. Like, it's a problem.
They
like,
own the sewers.
At first, like, when you come back at the beginning, you're like, this plague doesn't seem that bad. And then to where they're like mind controlling people in sewers, and you're like, this is a problem.
Yeah, this is this city is on the brink, which is kind of the excuse the Spy Master makes, where he's like, I'm doing this because hard measures need to be taken. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we ain't gonna support that.
Of course not.
It's a cool sequence to get through the sewers. Somewhere Civi 11 added to his list of sewer levels. We leave and we get to Samuel.
A+ mutton chops.
A+. He looks like Wolverine from like Old Man Logan. Solid old fisherman guy. He's like, hey man, I'm your buddy. I'm here to get you out. I'm also going to be your transportation for this entire game.
We're going to the Resistance faction, the people who are still loyal to the Empress. Which the fact that she does have like a team of the lower class like fighting for her makes you like care about her posthumously.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah. And it's a mixture. So there's some members of the upper class elite.
Yeah.
Kind of like what sounds like their royal parliament almost. Mm-hmm. Then there's, members of the military class, members of the lower class. So it shows that she has the support of people from all backgrounds that kind of show that maybe it puts more of a light on the fact that the people supporting the Spy Master's regime are all the upper class ruling elite.
Why did all of a sudden they want the Empress dead?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It puts a light on the fact that there's a lot of like graffiti and stuff that references the fact that the Empress is dead. Now there's also negative graffiti about her too, which I think is interesting.
Exactly, yeah.
Which shows that like she's not this like holy figure. People are just as, like, in any crisis when there's a leader, like, there's always blaming of the leader because they're the ones who the buck stops with. So there's, some feelings of, like, obviously not everyone's going to be like she's a saint. But I do like the fact that it is multiple classes represented by the resistance, from a fisherman all the way up to a guy who's in the parliament. And this gives you kind of your run through of like who your cast of characters are. Mm-hmm. They're operating out of a closed pub.
And the Hound Pit's pub.
The Hound's Pit pub, which is a good environment.
Oh yeah. And the fact that like as you get more abilities, you can kind of like run around and unlock more of the hub and everything. Find some of the bones and some hidden runes and everything. It's a cool hub area to just run around in. And
coming back, you feel like it's your hideout. Mm-hmm. And you're giving kind of the rundown of the situation. They're there. Obviously, they want to take down the Spy Master's regime. But the big thing they need to do first is they got to get Emily back. Because you have to have a legitimate heir to the throne. And she's being held. And without her, they're going to have a hard time convincing the people that they have the legitimacy. That's one of the reasons why the Spy Master kidnapped her. He can't allow them to get access to the heir to the throne.
And Pendleton is their sort of de facto leader, which is fun because like he has ties to the current regime because like his brothers are high up on that tent pole.
He's like the co-leader because the admiral is also like he's like the guy who knows more about what's happening in the social political sphere, where the admiral is the guy coming up with the next step forward. Mm-hmm. All right, so we know what's happening now because Pendleton, he's given me the information. But our next step is we need to go take out, we need to take out this guy. We need to go save Emily here. We need to move forward.
There's a sense of everybody knows the inside. So
and both of them are part of the ruling class, or not the ruling class, but they're part of the government,
the system.
Yeah,
they're a part of the system, and you're working to tear it down, man.
Yeah, and you're given basically your initial orders, which is to kill High Overseer Campbell. Not High Overseer Campbell. Who are we killing? I'm sorry, my notes are down here, and I don't want to get my phone near the microphone.
It's High Overseer Campbell.
It is High Overseer Campbell, okay.
The religious militant captain.
Yeah, he's kind of like the primary support for the Spy Master's regime. He was there when this happened. He was there at your interrogation. He's, in my mind, he's like the second in command here. which I thought was interesting that he's your first target. Like, he's a very high-ranking...
I was thinking, oh, this guy is going to be, like, one of the last people we take
He's going to
down.
be, like, the boss before we get to the Spy Master. But no, it's, he's your first initial... We're going to strike for the throat right from the get-go.
We're going to break the system. We're going to break it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this kickstarts the kind of the setting up for our power game. Because before we go on this mission, go take a little nap up in our room. And wake up to a weird, non-reality dream state in which we meet this odd reference throughout the game character called the Outsider. The Outsider is omnipotent.
He runs like the Shadow Realm. He's like, I halfway expect him to don a top hat and do a musical number or something.
He don't seem like that kind of guy.
Like, I don't...
But it's
just, like, so out there. Because for the most part, this game's played, like, in a very much style. And then all of a sudden, it's like, magical powers!
Yeah, and it's
You're
how
like,
they justify your powers. But he's very...
There's a sense that, like, there's a second layer of everything going on that we don't quite have a full understanding of yet.
Yes.
So the Outsider... For this, like, first half here, that makes it tricky for part one. We don't know. We can kind of just go take him for face value at this point. And what, like, is written or what the Granny Rags has to say, too.
He's very... He reminds me of... remember in The Witcher 3?
Yes.
The whole subplot with the man you meet at the crossroads. Do you remember this section? I believe it was in the main game. No, it might have been.
I think it's the Hearts of Stone DLC.
It's in Hearts of Stone.
Yeah.
So there's a character you meet at the crossroads who has who's a direct reference to the old concept of meeting the devil at the crossroads. He probably is the devil. But he kind of is your initial startup to the quest line that Hearts of Stone is going to be about. And he reminds me of that character, where he knows what's going on. He shows you where Emily is. He has access to, he's omnipotent, it looks like. He gives you these magical powers, but you don't know what his game is in this, what his stake in this is. And he kind of talks vague, doesn't give you a lot of information. You're kind of stuck just going along with it. And in part two, I imagine we'll gain more information. But for right now, we're kind of just taking him as...
We know as much as Corvo. Like, I woke up with this thing on my hand, and now I can teleport.
And, like, obviously, I think there's more to him. But
Absolutely,
we'll learn about him in part two. We don't really know much about him right now. It's the joys of doing these things, man. Mm-hmm. When this whole section goes on, you gain your magical powers, and this kickstart what was my favorite section in this entire game so far, which is the assassination of the High Overseer.
Yes.
And it introduces you to the Distillery District, which is going to be one of your main hubs for several missions.
It did not expect each missions to, like, take place in similar spaces. The last mission we do is, like, all, like, self-contained, but we might end up going back to that bridge at some point.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that I was like, oh, here's a familiar environment, but I'm looking at this in a different way than I did last time, based on, like, what my objective is. And I like that there's, like, optional missions, too, that, like, opens up different paths through.
So far, it looks like you're going to have at least one side mission to each main mission so far.
Yes.
This one's side mission. I'm assuming you did the side mission also.
Yeah.
The Granny Rags.
Granny Rags.
Granny Rags is a...
She knows who the Outsider is.
You take her as just this crazy old lady, but then obviously she's referencing things like the Outsider. She feels like she's
more mysterious than the Outsider, because even the Outsider's like she's got some secret. An emperor begs for her hand once. And you're like, what?
She's this old noble lady living in this decrepit house, and she's referencing access to powers that you feel like she should know about. Yeah, she's a very fascinating, interesting character. I wonder if we're going to learn more about her, or maybe we don't. But she gives you your kind of first side quest, which is to deal with some of the gangs that are roaming the distillery district by poisoning their distill.
That's where I was like, I'm good. I'm not going to do this bit.
You didn't do it?
I didn't do this bit.
Okay, so
because I was like, I don't want this to reflect on my permanent record.
So I did this.
So I was hoping you would,
yes.
so I could hear about this.
It involves you going and breaking into the doctor's home.
I did that. I got everything to the point where I actually had to do it, and then was like, actually, no.
Okay, so it's a very cool section when you break into the doctor's home. It's particularly cool because you're having to get across that main checkpoint road, which is a kind of a difficult spot there. Once you're inside the doctor's home, you're gaining access to a rat's body that's been dissected that's carrying the plague.
Can I say one thing about
Yes.
this section too? The overhearing the conversations is they smartly start the conversation when you can actually hear the beginning. It's such like a game developer thing, but like, so one thing I liked here was like they were discussing like the rumors about the Dr. Galvani, how there's rumors that he's breeding plague rats, but also someone alludes to this, like that might be spread by the royal physician because he's the one who claims he has a cure. So of course he's going to shut everybody else down because he's the most powerful. He can be like, well, this doctor's breeding the plague rats. Don't take anything he's going to do.
It's a really cool ward building exercise because you see like you're getting the man on the street's perspective on these big events taking place around them.
Yeah.
Also, it's a great job of like it'll do that a lot when you're peeking through like the keyholes and you'll hear the conversation through the keyhole and stuff.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. It's a cool stealth environment. You know, you're getting upstairs. You know, you got to take out people, take out civilians that might be nearby. You want to choke them out, not kill them. Get the rat with a cool little puzzle of just moving the, it's like the hidden bookcase and all that stuff. It's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was a section in which you're going to go to the distillery. You just walk your way through the distillery. You'll visit there again in the next mission. I was a little interested that they did not know it was me because I did get seen a couple of times in there and people had to get put to sleep permanently. So I thought they would know it was me, but I'm wearing a mask, so maybe it's anybody. But you just put the rat in the distillery, and so you've now poisoned this entire operation. And this leads to you gaining a rune from the granny, and it's a cool little side quest. Yeah. It's nothing special really, but it gets you introducing you to those environments.
Yeah. And I did that up until the point where I actually had to poison, and I was like, I'm good. I don't need it.
You're like, I don't want to be like this.
Yeah,
Gotta
exactly.
keep that chaos rating low.
I'm low chaos. I want to see how the ending plays out for both of us.
Yeah, we'll do the same thing what we usually do, where we'll get two different endings.
You're gonna get mad because you got the worst one probably.
Thank you. No, I think I'm gonna get the cool one. I have faith. I have faith in myself.
High chaos is the one that's gonna be good.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
The more rats, the better. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah.
More plague.
More plague.
Herd immunity.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Moving on.
We launched the assault to try to kill the High Overseer. Now, there's a couple of bonus objectives we have here. Mm-hmm. One is we can rescue, and this is kind of an easy one to get. We can rescue our buddy from the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Who's a captain in the city. He's in the city guard, right?
Martin.
Yeah. He's a captain of the city guard, though, right? Or is he like
That sounds right.
He's in the guard.
I was so invested gameplay wise that I didn't take as many notes as I probably should have during this section, just because I was so invested in playing the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
At this point, so.
But he's kind of the easiest one to complete. He is, tied up. There's one guy in the room with him very easy while that guy's talking to Martin to walk up behind him and go
It's
sleep, go sleep, go sleep,
It's
go
a
sleep.
giant room with one guard who like walks behind the thing.
Well, he didn't have any time to walk behind it for me because when I walked in, he was over there talking to Martin. I just walked up behind him and went, go sleep, go sleep, go sleep. And, you know, it's like, hey, Martin.
I went to free Martin. It was like, there's a guy you need to take care of. So then I snuck around, choked him out, and then freed him.
Yeah. But Martin's going to kind of join our cast of characters back at the pub.
Then Callista, there's one thing at the pub she asked you to do, which is to save her uncle because he's gonna have a meeting with the High Overseer, and he's gonna get poisoned.
He is a loyal. He's kind of like one of the good guys. Like, he's not invested in this plot. He's just a guy who was serving in the city guard, and he's somebody that when this plot comes to light, you're going to probably need somebody like that on your side, or you want those kind of people in power still. So you have a vested interest not only to save her uncle, but also to keep those kind of people in power. And so you know that he's meeting with the High Overseer, so you have a vested interest in trying to stop him from being murdered, you know, by the High Overseer.
And you have a lot of options when you go up to the meeting place. What I did was I snuck into the chamber beforehand, and you have the drinks there, and you have like 3 options. It's like poison 1, poison, swap the drinks, do not poison either drink, or poison both drinks.
You'd be an anarchist, apparently.
The fact that this game has that option is like that's fun.
Now,
and this did not work for me.
I rotated the drinks.
Gotcha.
So I switched the drinks.
So that's how you killed.
That's how I killed the High Overseer. I swapped the drinks. I thought the poetic justice of him poisoning himself was too great for me not to do so.
That is beautiful.
It's real quick though. Great sequence on the stealth up there.
Oh yeah.
Amazingly beautiful outside locations with the spotlights. The one issue I got is I successfully snuck into the building, and when I opened up the main doors to come in front of me was a group of people, and behind me was 2 guards. And somehow I had a save, or a quick save, like a checkpoint, right at that moment. But also at that same moment, the guard behind me was turning. So in that save, I constantly was getting seen. I did this like 5 times, trying to find a way to get out of it.
Did you eventually have to go back?
No, what I eventually had to do is I had to get very mechanical with it. There was guards on both sides of me coming in. There was guards in front and back.
Blink really fast.
I literally had to blink and then blink to like another location to pull it off. But it took me like 4 or 5 times to get out of that bad save.
And then save again. Like, I'm dropping a save right here.
Yeah, a manual save instead of a checkpoint.
Having a manual save, like, saves this game in a lot of ways, because I may have been more frustrated with it if I had to rely on the game's checkpoint system and not the manual saves. Like, after every cool thing I do, I always do a manual save. And every time I do something stupid, I have a manual save. So I'm also playing on hard mode.
Yeah.
So, now you want to hear how I got rid of High Overseer Campbell.
So, like, I got rid of him by sneaking into the meeting before we got there, switching the drinks, and then I hid in the corner behind the little, this little, like, changing thing almost, and I watched what happens. He swapped the drinks. He died. The captain was like, oh, crap. He called the guard in there. The High Overseer's guys accused him of doing it.
Uh-oh.
But he had his buddy with him.
Okay.
The Overseer guys attacked him. He got in a fight with them. They killed the Overseer guards, and then him and his lieutenant escape. And then I just walk up to the dead body, pick up the book, head my way out the door.
Oh, wow.
It worked out very well for me.
All right, this is how it happened for me.
How you got rid of him?
So I didn't poison the drink, so it led to a hilarious moment where they both drank, and the captain's just like, the seething anger on his face of just like, something's wrong here. And I sleep darted both of them. And then jumped down, took the High Overseer, and then carried him to the interrogation room because I saw a note, or I saw someone talking about something called the Brand of the Heretic, where if you have this brand, you are marked as a heretic spreading sacrilege against the church and are an outcast from society. And immediately a message ejected in power. It's like, here's an alternate path. So I'm like, ooh, that sounds fun. So I took him to like the interrogation room and everything. But at that point, they realized that meeting went on quite a long time. So then they're all of a sudden like searching everywhere as I'm just grabbing and like heating up a brand. Like, all right, let's do this. And there was one guy who like I broke it somehow, went into the interrogation room with the high overseer chained to the chair. He didn't care. He just walked right past him, walked around the interrogation room, was like, we're looking for you. As he just walked past the high commander. I was like, okay. So I choked out that dude and then walked up with this seething hot brand and just etched it into his face and then left. Took his book and ran. I was like, awesome.
No,
the non-lethal kills to me feel a lot more satisfying than there's one that happens off screen, which is kind of a bummer, but like overall I'm like, the fact that they let you have a lot of fun playing non-lethal is such a good thing.
I like the fact that non-lethal is not a punishment.
Oh, absolutely.
Game. It's not the boring path.
It's an alternate path.
It's a completely valid alternate path. And then I felt pretty satisfied with my
exactly
kill. Like with the I sat there because I found the note that you're talking about. It's in like the library behind there, and I was like, I could do that, but boys, it's poetry to swap the drinks and be like, here you are trying to poison this guy, and now you just drink your own poison. It's too poetic for me not to do.
A good game makes everything fun. A great game makes everything like equally satisfying.
Yeah, it was very satisfying.
Where I was just like, your way sounds cool, and then like
the escape method was easy. There's some windows. I hopped onto the rooftops.
Just blinked, and then you get to a point where like the guards aren't patrolling. You can just casually walk and everything. Except I got discovered on my way back to the boat, so it was another Jack Sparrow moment where he's like running again. I had to grab the chain, and that's when I realized that blink does not protect you from fall damage. So I grabbed the chain and was like, I'm just gonna blink down to the ground. Haha! I only blink halfway and then fall again and then
I'm about to say
die.
You can blink all the way down, but you have to make sure that the blink is showing on the ground, not in the air.
I was just like, I got this, no fall damage, because I can blink everywhere. Haha! Dies instantly.
Yeah. But
so yeah, this was.
It's a great moment.
This was the mission where I'm like, oh, this game is amazing.
Agreed. It sold me on this game. We return back to the pub.
Oh, and remember how I said I sleep darted the dude? Castilla came back and he's like, he didn't make it out of there. I was like, he was asleep! What happened?
The thing about it,
did he get blamed?
Either that or the thing about it, like, he's the enemy. He's like, one thing that happens in my death is he has a conversation with like the head of the religious guard. He's like, you have no authority here. This is our territory.
Oh.
And he's like, no, I have, you're threatening the city guard captain. And he's like, it doesn't matter. You're in our freaking house. So what you did is you left him to the wolves.
Oh, whoops.
So my ending got him out.
Okay, so what? Okay.
Yeah. I'm just throwing that out there. So maybe I'm not such a bad guy after all.
He didn't make it out of there, and I was like, "What happened? I thought I did everything right. I just sneaked and then made sure it was like, see, he's asleep." But I guess it's like you slept, and all this bad stuff happened.
The high overseer was going missing, and you were the last one to see him.
No, he's not missing. They know exactly where he is. He has the mark of the heretic on his face.
I don't think they would. They probably don't recognize him. I mean, if he's got the heretic mark.
No, they recognize him. Because in the second mission, you know how they have, like, the alerts?
Yeah.
And this is, like, High Overseer Campbell has been marked as a heretic. Do not let him into your house. You will not harbor a criminal.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Also, like, one thing I forgot to mention in the first mission, the alert sound scared the crap out of me every single time because, like, they found me.
Sounds like they're telling you where you're at, but instead it's just like this propaganda / information giving system.
The sound where they see you is more like a sound, and you're like, ah.
After we meet back up at the pub, our next objective is to straight up kill the two brothers of Pendleton.
Pendleton's brothers, yes.
As he says, they're assholes. But I like the fact that he's not like he knows that they're evil, but he's not willing to, like, he's not excited about this. He even says before you leave, like, go do this before I change my mind. Like, it's a tragic situation he's been put into that his brothers.
There's no way out of the situation, pretty much. Yeah.
It's there's there's an overthrowment, and they picked their side, and he picked his, and this is the way it's got to be.
They'll have him dead in a heartbeat. He has to have them dead.
It's
or taken care of
Yeah.
in a mob style. But
Yeah.
we'll get to that.
This leads to us returning to the distillery district.
We didn't talk about Peyruis, who's basically the guy in Daredevil comics who always upgrades Daredevil's suit. He always has like a lab.
To talk about there.
Yeah, he's just. There's one cool thing where he's like the scientist on your team too, so you can find logs where he was like Sokolov has claims he has this thing that cures health, but I have a way to cure like basically their endurance, which is like your magic meter and everything. It explains the two different elixirs, which
he is like he's the guy who brings the equipment.
Yeah.
He made your sword, he made your mask, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. The mission that we're sent back on was sent back to the distillery district, and we've got 2 targets. Now, a couple of things I want to talk about here. At this point, because I had some chaos on me, city streets have some more weepers roaming the streets.
Oh yeah, we meet the Weepers here too because there was like an instance in the sewer.
Yeah, we meet them at the bar.
Yeah.
But I'm saying in the streets of the distillery district now, those roaming weepers.
That's cool.
And the rats are significantly higher. There's packs of them. Now I'm wearing bone charms that keep me safe from most of the rats, but they are a problem and they will spontaneously attack people. Mm-hmm. So you're seeing the city start to degrade, which to me is pretty cool actually.
Yeah,
and it makes it a little bit more difficult because the city streets are now packed with weepers. And if you're like me, who's trying to play with a code, I'm not willing to kill them. Mm-hmm. So I'm having to stealth by them, choke them out, or use a precious sleep dart to get around them because I'm not willing to kill them because I view them as still innocent people. We're kind of told from the get-go that the gang wants to meet with us.
Slackjaw, which is a great gangster name.
Yeah, it's a very London. Yeah, it's very.
And it's also believed because in the book that Emily is being held at this place called the Golden Cat.
Yeah, which is a brothel.
Yeah,
which is where our objectives are also.
Convenient how there's all lined up in the same space.
Very nice.
Very video gamey, but I don't mind.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's fine.
Did you meet with Slackjaw?
Yes.
Okay.
And he basically says, hey, one of my guys went missing. And it's a little bit lame that you go right back to the doctor's house to find him. I guess it makes sense, but I had already been there, so I was like,
you were kind of hoping another place would open up. I kind of liked it though because I knew the lay of the land at that point, so I was like, oh, I know how many people are typically hanging around up here. I know my optimal way through this again, so I didn't mind it so much. I actually like that they reused. I personally like that they reused the location, but I can see your perspective.
It was a little bit like I wish it was something new, but I digress. In that process, we gain access to a hotel that butts up to the Golden Cat, and we also get the non-lethal option, which is you could knock them out and leave it to us, and we'll handle it for you.
I need a key code to break into a safe.
Yeah.
And I know there's a guy there who knows the combination. I need you to get the combination.
Basically, you do that and we'll take care of them for you. Mm-hmm. No reason to get your hands dirty.
We'll take it.
We'll take it from here. One of the things I encountered, I don't know if you encountered this in the alley, one of the alleys. There was a couple of guards harassing a woman, trying to get her elixir off of her.
I didn't see this bit.
Okay, so there was, and this might be because of high chaos. Mm-hmm. There was a woman who's in an alley, and I'm sneaking through, and there's 3 guards harassing her, and she has an elixir that they're trying to get off of, with telling her to give it to them, and she's saying that she has a baby at home. She needs the elixir for a baby. As a man who had a baby not long ago, they ain't getting that elixir. So we went very lethal here. Don't mess with a woman and a baby. So bam, bam, bam. 3 guards go up. 3 guards go headless. And I talked to the lady. She's like, oh, thank you. I don't have anything to give you. But before I got fired because of the plague, boy, does this sound familiar. For the ward we live in, I used to work for this art dealer. and I have a key to his house, and
Oh.
I'll give you that key.
So that's another way to the...
Exactly. So
Cool.
she gives you that.
So which way did you pick? Did you pick her way, or did
I
you
did
pick
not pick her way.
Gotcha.
I actually went a little bit of a different route, and I'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah.
I went up through the hotel.
Same.
Yeah, okay. So I went up through the hotel.
Yeah, we went in the hotel room.
But I thought that was cool, and it was cool. It was I like my version of Corvo is that he's still like the protector of this empire and the protector of this city. So like I didn't view him as the kind of guy who's going to turn a blind eye to a woman being harassed by the corrupt city guard. Like
Exactly,
to me,
yeah.
he's still a hero. He's doing things that are brutal and he's killing people, but he's doing it for the greater good of the empire. So I was like, yeah, he's not going to turn a blind eye to this. He's going to stop and save this woman. The Golden Cat, when you open up, one of the things I like about it is because this is a section for the rich and the people, it's clean.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of rats around. There's no weepers. And my way of getting in was I kind of blinked my way through the rooftops.
Same.
And got into the top floor, which means that I found Emily right from the get-go.
I found her because I was like sneaking through and like one of the dressing rooms. There was like, oh, the younger girl. What's her deal? And they're like, oh yeah, Emily and everything. So you go, oh, Emily's here, and then you get the marker of where to find her and everything.
I found her before that because I came in that top floor, or the second to the top floor, and I went up to the top floor just to kind of get the lay of the land, and I had my dark vision on to see inside the rooms. And one of the rooms, there's a woman or somebody sitting in like a fetal position up against the wall, and I was like, that looks
important.
odd. Like no one else is doing that. So I looked into the keyhole and you couldn't see her. And when I kind of peeked in and came in, I saw it was Emily. So I got Emily out right from the get go.
Gotcha.
Down to where she's gonna escape finally.
And then you need the key. So I just snuck behind the lady because she was like washing dishes or something. Just went pluck on this key.
I think I saw her go into her office.
Gotcha.
And I even had the cool moment when she walks into the office and I sneak in behind her. And I shut the door behind her. And it's like,
just in case this gets ugly.
Nobody's gonna see this. It didn't get ugly. She went to sleep, but just in case, door went shut. I
was just crouched under a table and just went yank. I just snuck away, just tiptoed out of there.
My Corvo's he's a little bit more scary. So I got my key, which I used to get into a bunch of lockers in our office and get a bunch of stuff. And then I was like, okay, these two guys, am I going to let the mob take care of it? And here's my logic why I didn't let the mob take care of it. It's like, I just killed a bunch of those guys, and I poisoned their distillery. I don't trust these guys not to turn on me.
Gotcha.
And so I'm going to handle this myself. I am defending the empire. I'm trying to bring the rightful heir to the throne. These guys are a threat. So instead what I did is I did some very clever sneaking. Threw some bottles to get people away. Because like I said, I'm playing with... Corvo doesn't kill innocent people in my game. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of the prostitutes and things like that inside the brothel. Yeah. I don't want to kill any of them. And I'm not actively going to try to kill the guards either. So I'm trying to be stealthy. So I threw some bottles. And there's an open room, a double-level open room that splits off on either side as the two brothers. That room is a bitch to sneak in. Because... there's so many of the prostitutes and stuff.
Yeah, the big open room and everything, because I had to go through that room too in order to find the guy with the key code.
Yeah, that's a tough room to sneak around.
I botched it once, then when I figured out the placement, I was like, there's a light fixture here. So I blinked up there, and then that led me right angular to the room I needed to be at. So I blinked to the door, opened the door, and was like... let's get this key code. So
how I did it was I got to the outside and I was able to blink onto the windowsill. Yeah. And come in the door from the outside, come in the window. And there's some really cool conversations that happen there where the brothers are talking to their particular ladies of the evening. And I was waiting for them to leave. And the ladies wouldn't leave. And I was like, damn, how are we going to do this? I was like, I'm not going to kill the innocent people, but these guys got to die. Yeah. And so the first guy, I had like a barely of an angle Well, I had my crossbow out, and I shot as I ran. I shot the guy in the head with the crossbow and ran around the other side. So she screamed for like a millisecond, and then boom, got behind her and choked her out.
Awesome.
So it felt like a cool moment. It wasn't like a scripted sequence. It was just felt like a cool, action guy moment. Like right when she started screaming, boom, I was behind her. I was able to choke her out, and I even took the body. I threw it out the window. So I was like, I don't want this lady to get blamed for killing this guy.
Yeah.
And so then I got to the other guy, and I got to the windowsill for him too. And it was the same situation. He has a conversation with the lady, but she doesn't leave.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, how am I going to do this? And for her, I don't think I did, but I wanted to try something else. And so what I did there is I came up behind him and stabbed him. And she screamed, but then she just went down into like a fetal position. Like, not running.
Like, I'm not going to
exactly.
get you.
And so I just
that's cool.
And I waited. I was like, can I leave her like this? But I'm like, I bet you the moment I leave this room, she's going to go and alert somebody. Mm-hmm. So chokey, out she goes. And out that body goes out the window. Because I was like, I'm giving them an out. I don't want them to get blamed.
Exactly.
So I threw the bodies out the window and then proceeded to sneak my way back out and go back to Emily. Had the key from the head mistress lady. Opened up the door. I had ran into Granny already, but you run into Granny down in the sewers, who's got like a whole spread of food down there, basically feeding the Weepers and calling for like her man. Did you run into her?
I don't remember this bit.
Okay, so she's in the sewers for me. Like there's a section that goes as like a basement that comes out from where you sneak Emily out, and she's down there. Like talking to, like she's waiting for a man to come see her,
gotcha.
her suitor, and she got a bunch of food and candles and stuff.
Because I think I had to go a different way, just because I was like, hey Emily, you need to go to Samuel. I need to go talk to Slackjaw a bit. So I was on a different path. I think.
Yeah. See, I went straight to Samuel and we got out of there because there was no business to handle with Slackjaw because some
business dealings happened.
They had an arrow through the head and then was proceeded to have their body thrown out the window.
That'll do it for sure.
So tell me about your assassination.
All right. Well, lack of assassination.
Yeah.
I jumped into the room where the guy with the code was, and he was strung up on like this electric machine with like a mask on and everything. So you pull the lever with the electric, and he's like, this is fun.
So he's having a great time.
So you're doing it again, and he's like, wait a minute, you're only supposed to do it like twice. Do it a third time, and you take the mask off, and he's like, He's like, what do you want? He's like, what the code? He's like, oh, that's it? He's like, you're going to let me go, right? And just leave.
Put the mask back on. You saw nothing, man.
So then I got out of there and we got out of there with Emily, and Emily goes to the boat, and I'm just like, I got to take care of something first. So I go to Slackjaw, and he's like, you did good. I was like, here's the code. He's like, all right, you did good. Does it verify it or anything? She's like, all right, awesome. He's like, here's what we're going to do. He was like, these, like, pigs, they run this mine and treat people like dirt. We're going to shave their heads, we're going to cut out their tongues, and we're going to make them work in their own mines. And I went, yes! I went, all right.
One of the things I like about...
Slackjaw's effective. I like it.
Like you said, one of the things I like about the non-lethal options is that they are still interesting
and satisfying.
And they're satisfying because you're dealing with these monsters, and you feel like you get some form of justice for the ward that you're playing in. So that's a damn good way of taking them out. Okay, so here's my question: we go back, and Pendleton is not very happy with me. Like he's like, I know I told you to do this, but I'm still. Like I still know what you did. You did it because you had to do it, but it doesn't mean that I have to be happy about this.
Exactly. That's the one thing where I think this game kind of lacks is they never say you killed them when they're back. It's always like you had to do what you had to do. They're always like, I think it's the same dialogue regardless of which option you do. It was like, oh, you did that? Ooh. No one ever says you killed him or you cut off their tongues and left them to the mines. Or maybe they just assume that they're dead at that point.
It feels like Pendleton would be more disgusted with the way you handled it than the way I handled it. He was prepared for me to kill him. But you gave him a life of misery, you know? So, like, I don't know. Like, it would have been nice if there was some form of payoff on that when you gave him back.
That's, I think, the one weak spot in this game, but it's so minor, I don't care.
I have a hard time finding any weak spots.
That's the one. If I had to pinpoint one, it's that. Like,
Yeah.
there could have been some more branches in the dialogue, but overall, who cares?
Yeah.
This game's awesome.
Let's go into our last target so we can bring this home.
It's the most linear
Yeah.
mission, I think.
So we are going to get the Royal Physician. This is the introduction of a new area.
And you're not going to kill him, and you need to extract him.
Nobody's killing him.
So there's pretty much one direct path through this mission.
Because it's a bridge,
Makes sense.
don't have a ton of options of how to navigate it. There is some stuff, like I enjoy this section on the bridge. Mm-hmm. There's a cool moment in which you ride in a cart. You get in the cart and you ride down.
You like skip a whole section because you like power the cart and everything.
Yeah. And it's linear, but it still feels good. And I feel like it makes up for it in the next section once you come off the bridge. Because then that section is very open. How you get past the checkpoint, how you get to the actual home of the Royal Physician. Like, I felt like that was pretty easy to navigate. Now, that was where I rode the side of the...
The main puzzle here is figuring out how to get past the bridge.
Yeah. And once you pass that, you kind of open things up.
This is where I killed some people by pure accident. I was like, oh, just turn off this machine. Uh-oh, I rewired it. And it went zap, zap, zap. And it killed like 3 people. I'm like, I was like, you know what? I'm keeping this.
I had the upgraded ability that when I kill people from stealth, their body disappears. And I think because I'm playing High Chaos, there's more guards. I'm not 100% sure.
Gotcha.
But there was one particular section I needed to complete one objective, and there was one guard who was a problem. And I said to myself, hey, do it. Sorry, buddy. Wrong place, wrong time. So as the other guy turned around, I came in behind his buddy, stabbed him. He disappears.
I feel like
and I was like, he was able to turn back around. His buddy's not there anymore. And I was able to do the objective. So that was kind of cool.
I feel like the upgrades are also going to give you more incentive to kill people. Too, because it's like, ooh, I can summon some rats on these dudes.
Yes, you can summon rats. Rats will also eat the bodies, which is something I had to take into consideration. That if I needed to hide a body, I can always throw it to a rat pit and it would disappear. But also now, like I said, I have the ability now that if I kill anybody from stealth, their body just disappears.
The upgrade version of that is like people would just turn to dust if they don't see you.
Oh yeah,
if they don't see, that's the. All of my points are going into movement. So I have the upgraded jump and I have the upgraded blink.
The upgraded blink is very, very good.
That's the one you get first.
Yeah, I feel like you need to. That's good bread and butter.
Traversal is how I'm playing this because I'm just jumping right from rooftop to rooftop.
It feels
it feels so good doing that.
It feels like almost like Assassin's Creed. In some ways, with the way Assassin's Creed tries to.
It's an amalgamation of a whole bunch of different games, like an immersive sim should be, because it's like a playground of options. It's a little bit Deus Ex, a little bit Assassin's Creed, and quite a bit of Hitman, which is something I'm like, yeah. You have a target, you have to figure out how to take down the target.
So once you get to the doctor's house, it's pretty straightforward. There's only really one way to get up there.
Yeah, this is a very straightforward mission.
And it's fine.
Mm-hmm. It was fun playing it.
Yeah, not much to talk about. There was a couple of civilians up there, so I was being extra careful not to do anything that would have to kill them. It really doesn't take off until you get to the rooftop itself.
Exactly.
And that's when you go up there and you realize that, one, you can kind of spy on the doctor and learn he's making like recordings of his conversation, that he's working on an elixir to fix the plague or try to solve the plague. Mm-hmm. He's not found one yet. Despite
the fact that he's like bragging to everybody that is like, I'm close to cracking this nut of solving this whole plague thing. And people are like, oh, Sokolov is going to find the cure to the plague.
But he doesn't.
It's all to like sell like his business to, because he's all like, he of course has the most popular of like the elixirs and everything too. So he's all bragging that he has a cure for the plague, so that way his business does well versus like Piero and everything who's like faltering because of this whole plague thing.
He's a
very well realized world. It's incredible.
And you see the different aspects. He also has a prisoner locked away because he's running a test subject.
Oops, missed that bit.
You didn't have a prisoner locked away?
I did not see the prisoner locked away.
In the far corner of the room on the right hand side, there's a cage, and he's got a woman in there.
Whoops.
So when I go in, he's having the conversation.
You're a lot more noble than I am. I'm not killing anybody.
Like I said, you're not killing anybody. But my guy's he's a hero, but he's violence takes place.
I was just like, let's figure out this elixir machine.
So I came in and I think I just walked into the door like a badass and shot him in the face with a sleep dart.
Yep. Kicked down the door. He's like, what?
He literally turned. I'm like, dang.
I was like, it can't be this easy, right? I like check the environment. I like do the he hunts dice thing.
Yeah.
What is he saying?
I don't know what he's saying. We talked about that last night.
I keep hearing he hunts dice. And I'm like, that's not right.
Or the hunt's eyes or something. I don't know what it says.
Whatever. But I did that thing and like looked around the room. I was like, this can't be this easy, right? So I walked in, shot him in the face, picked him up, grabbed some elixir, and then just left.
See, I turned and he's talking about he's injected the test subject with something.
Gotcha.
And that she's going to die in a very horrible way anyway. And I was like, damn, she might have a worse version of the plague now. Like, should I let her go? But then I was like, I can't leave this lady locked in a cage. So I let her go, and from what I gathered from the recording that I listened to, she is going to die anyway. Like, and he didn't say that she's got the plague. It's just like an after effect of the elixir. So I was like, and I opened up the thing, and she's like, I'm feeling bad. I'm gonna rest for a little while, and then I'll come down. And so I was like, if she's gonna die, let her out for the last few minutes and freedom. So I let her out, hop down the chain, climb down the chain, blink, 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 which I think is weird that you can blink with the doctor.
That's fun.
Yeah,
blink by carrying a guy.
Yeah, and
I can show you the world.
Yeah, threw him in the boat with Samuel. Off we go back to the.
You get the key to his house, but I couldn't figure out which one was Sokolov's house. I was like, I like tried a door going, this is the right one. It was like, you don't have this key. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go to the boat.
I felt like it was more like cinematic to take him to the boat. like.
Yeah, I get that.
I've got him now.
I was like, I was like, from a gameplay point, it's like, I'm so close. Like,
yeah. But, this kind of.
That's where it's kind of like a quote unquote unsatisfying story moment to leave off because I feel like the crazy story stuff is about to happen because this is the only mission where it requires you to play it this way.
Yeah, you have to bring him back. You can't kill him.
So something is about to happen. We have 5 more assassination missions after this.
Yeah.
So because this is very much the halfway point. So I have a feeling we're gonna get to a lot more like shorter, but like more play box missions of where we're trying to. Puzzle box missions, I should say, where we're trying to figure out how to deal with these targets.
I imagine we'll get some more like that, but then I imagine toward the end we'll get some more linear moments.
Probably the last 2 missions are going to be
more like the
scripted.
First couple missions.
Very scripted.
Because you have to bring the story to a conclusion in some way.
I'm glad there's a chapter select because I would want to go back and play the more open-ended missions over again just to like see what I miss and everything, because there is a mission select option in the main menu. There's also I wrote this down, it's not related to the game at all. Remember the Xbox Help app where the games I clicked on that, there was like, here's how to start the game. You click start game, and that's literally the only hit. To adjust settings, go to settings. I was like, no one used this.
No, I don't think I ever used it.
Just to flash back to that weird thing on the main menu
stuff.
I saw.
They tried stuff.
It's every console generation tries features that everybody takes advantage of for the first year, and then everybody drops.
It's like I really wish they would drop like the club system.
It was a good idea,
but
then no one it never took off and everything.
Yeah. So far, this has been great.
This is a great game.
I've loved every moment of playing this.
I'm gonna say something bold. When it comes to pure, not as a game as a whole, but when it comes to pure fun factor, this is one of the most fun. This is definitely one of the most fun games we played.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue that.
Yeah.
The systems of this game are great. The open-ended sandbox assassinations. You used the word Hitman. It feels very Hitman-ish.
As someone who loves Hitman,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is clicking for me.
But it has the great ward building of a Bioshock, which I love Bioshock. So like, the ward building of this is
it's
great.
like it's an amalgamation of a bunch of stuff that I enjoy thrown into a blender.
I'm having a ball with this.
This is a great game.
I'm having a ball. This is definitely something I'm enjoying playing, man. I'm looking forward to finishing this. I'm gonna knock. I can always tell when I really enjoy the game we're playing for the show because we have about 2 weeks to play it.
Because I'm like, I don't want to stop here. I want to keep going.
Yes, but also because for me, I know when I knock it out in like the first week. Because sometimes I try not to knock it out that soon because I want to come into the game fresh. But this one, I was like, man, I kept going because I'm like, this is damn good. I would not be surprised come tomorrow. I might be sitting there, go ahead and starting back up on Dishonored. I've just really enjoyed playing through this so far. It's a great damn video game.
Oh, it's great.
Definitely makes me interested when this is done to play the second game and the Death of the Outsider, which is like a shorter expansion style.
There's also DLC stuff for this game, but I don't know exactly how story focused it is. Because there's one called like Dunwall City Trials, where I'm like, that sounds like a wave based thing,
Or maybe like a time attack
maybe.
kind of thing. Oh, who knows? We'll see when we get to the end. We always look at that stuff at the end. State of the Save at gmail.com. You can send in your emails. Tell us what you like about the show. Suggest games. Do all that fun stuff. We are also at State of the Save on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. We also 5-star reviews and written reviews on your podcast app of choice.
Whichever one has the stars.
Yeah, whichever. Anything you can do helps. Like Spotify doesn't have anything, but like Apple, iTunes has 5 stars and written reviews. I don't know. I think like Pocket Cast and shit like that has like stars at least.
Or just a DM saying, keep doing what you're doing, or this format sucks. Here's how you can make it better.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that.
Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like so we can do more stuff that you like and less stuff that you don't like. Unless we really like doing the stuff that you don't like, then we'll keep doing what you don't like because I like doing the stuff that you don't like. As always, thank you guys for joining us. Another great episode. We see you hopefully next week with the File Corrupted. Don't see why we wouldn't, but life always goes crazy. So the File Corrupteds, we'll see. But we will definitely be back in 2 weeks to see part 2 of Dishonored. Then we got one more game before the end of the year's extravaganzas. It's going to be really great. I have cool plans for this year's end of the year. As always, thank you guys. Stay safe out there. See you on the flip side.